time. I'm Pradeep Parmar. Just by way of introductions, I've been with Cisco about 6 years. I've been doing marketing for the switching products, and for the last year, I've been working on these outcome-based solutions or business outcome-based solutions. Prior to that, I was at Sun for a long time, doing product management for Spark and x86 machines, and then spent some time at Oracle as part of the Sun acquisition. So that's who I am. Thank you for your time today. So I'm going to do three things. Thanks to Sri for setting this all up, why we're doing this, the technology underpinnings, the architecture. I'm going to do three things. I'm going to share with you what are these digital solutions, kind of what makes them up. Number one. Number two, I'm going to share the use cases. How are customers actually going to use this? And number three, I'm going to give you actual customer examples of how folks are actually doing this today and doing it at scale. So that's what we're going to do in the next 15 minutes or so. This is your presentation. Stop me, ask me questions. Sri can jump in as well, or we can do Q&A later as well, whichever works for you guys. So Sri covered digitization and digital solutions. We are helping our customers get to business outcome faster with digital solutions in three categories: customer experience, workforce experience, digital ceiling. And so just to kind of refresh what Sri was saying, why are we doing this? The number one reason we are doing this is just following the money. If you talk to analysts today, if you talk to many of our biggest customers, they tell us 70% or more of the IT budget today is either directly controlled or heavily influenced by the line of business. So if IT doesn't get relevant to the business, they're going to become irrelevant pretty soon, right? And it's because the speed of change is so fast that the business and the IT, IT is a fundamental strategy of the business. So I was listening to some of the keynotes at Cisco Live. It's not the back room anymore. It is the room. It is the boardroom. It is the strategy. So if 70% of the IT budget is heavily influenced by line of business, we need to start talking about our solutions in that language and how either you can make more money, save some money, or cut some risks down, right? So that's what business cares about. And so Sri set it up very nicely on why customer experience, workforce experience, and so I'm going to share with you what are those solutions. So we have three solutions in the market today for customer experience. They're called virtual expertise, mobile experience, intelligent branch. We have one for workforce experience called workplace design, and for digital ceiling we have a framework for lighting solutions in the market already. All of these are available on the, if you are at Cisco Live, they are on the World of Solutions show floor, so you should check it out. So let's get into each one of them. What is Cisco's customer experience about? It's about three things. It's about creating, enhancing, and predicting. It's about creating that omni-channel experience, whether your customer is coming in online or in a physical store or through a website, right? So, or through a mobile device. How do you go about creating that omni-channel experience that is consistent across all of these channels? Sri talked about Amazon and some of these companies bringing the store to you, right? So even brick and mortar retailers have to go care about these kind of things. How do you once you've done that, how do you go about enhancing the customer experience at every touch point? And then once you've done that, how do you go about predicting the customer experience? You can make it that much more personal and more elegant. And so that's what Cisco's customer experience digital capability is about. And we do that with three offers or three solutions. The products that make up the solutions are listed there as well. These are products that many of you will recognize. Our ISR routers, the CAT machines, Catalyst machines, Cisco One, to simplify the pricing. So virtual expertise, mobile experience, intelligent branch. And I'm going to go into use cases for each one of them. So you'll get an idea of what virtual expertise is, or each one of these is. So virtual expertise is about creating easy real-time interactions with experts anywhere on any device. So it's about democratizing the availability of expertise. So using technology so that if there's a limited number of experts, they're accessible by the masses. And so how do you go about doing that? You do that with all of the technologies that are listed here. I'm going to show you an actual customer example that has done it, so it'll become more clear. The outcomes that it creates is higher customer satisfaction. You can go about creating new lines of business and lower costs, right? So that's virtual expertise. Mobile experience offer, a mobile experience solution is about creating personalized and differentiated mobile experiences, right? So the mobile device is not about just connecting. How about the mobile device as a customer, mobile device can take you places where you could never go before on your own, right? So it has got massive reach. So how about using that reach to create new kinds of mobile experiences that are personalized and differentiated based on who you are, right? So the third one is intelligent branch. So the first two, the virtual expertise and mobile experience, are solutions where you're actually interacting with customers, right? So whether it's virtual expertise, and I'll show you the use case at a bank that has installed that in 200 plus branches. Intelligent branch is the offer that makes the virtual expertise and mobile experience a great experience. Because we all know that when you're doing a customer interaction, the last thing that you want is for the network to go down or for the bandwidth to be not sufficient, so you get that jittery experience. Because here it's a high stake, high reward kind of situation. So what intelligent branch does is it uses things like PFR, performance routing, or ability to automatically transmit kind of business critical traffic over dedicated lines and recreational traffic with the best effort, so that you get that amazing experience when you're doing that personalized experience on a mobile device in a branch, or you're doing virtual expertise, a video interaction with a customer in a branch. And so the intelligent branch solution helps make sure that you have that great experience. So intelligent branch is the one that works in the background to create that experience, and so you really get the reward in this high reward, in this high reward kind of high risk, high reward situation. So those are three solutions. As a customer, you don't have to buy all of them together. You could buy one at a time. You can do it, at your pace. If you already have a Cisco network, you can buy these additional components and extend them. So backwards compatibility and investment protection has been a key kind of value proposition for Cisco. So that's customer experience, and I'm going to keep going in the interest of time. So is there a customer that has done it? There is. There's a bank called Nationwide. There's a bank called Nationwide in the UK, and so here's the problem they were having. Everybody, so she was talking about this younger crowd coming in, and they are digital natives. They don't like to go to banks. I still go to banks sometimes, but these folks, they don't want to go to banks. So Nationwide has 200 plus branches in the UK. They had the sunk cost. They didn't have a lot of people coming into the branches, and when they had people coming into the branches, many times experts were not available in the branches for selling mortgages, for example. And so they had these massive network of branches. They couldn't just go hire more people because they were competing with banks that were online only. So they can't just hire more people to have mortgage experts available in all these 200 plus branches. So what did they do? They ended up, there you go, that's a Nationwide. So what did they do? So you got the problem, right? So you get 200 plus branches, people not coming in. When the people came in, the experts were not available, so the customer ended up having a bad experience. They ended up deploying our virtual expertise solution. So you get that almost in-person experience for a person coming into the branch, and they were able to connect that customer to a centralized pool of experts, mortgage experts, and have that almost in-person experience using our collaborative technologies like telepresence, and of course the intelligent branch to have that experience. Sorry. Okay. So what did they see? What was the end result? The end result was, and the product is already deployed in 230 branches, they saw 66% increase in mortgage revenue. In established business like a bank, having that much increase in business is just unheard of, right? 66% increase in revenue, mortgage revenue, 2/3 lower cost of selling those mortgages, and double-digit increase in the Net Promoter Score, which is a score that measures customer satisfaction. That's amazing for an established business. So much so that if you pick up the Nationwide, the yearly the report that they put out for the shareholders, they are now actually calling out this product Nationwide now as a separate line item. It's driving 18% of the total revenue. That's an amazing use case, right? It's using one offer, virtual expertise, and of course the intelligent branch. So that's customer experience for you. Any questions or comments? We have about 12 minutes. I think we are doing good on time. I'm gonna cover the workforce experience and then the digital ceiling. So the workforce experience, is about creating, work is something that you do. It's not a place you need to show up, right? That's the mentality nowadays. And so how do you go about enabling that style of work? And we do that with our technology so that you can work anywhere on any device and have that. Based on your role, you can get access to the right level of resources, whether you're working on-prem in the company, on the company campus, or from home, or while you're on the road. How do you go about? Any question, comment? How do you go about improving productivity by aligning workplaces to work activities? And how do you go about managing workspaces based on personal preferences, equipment, and utilization? So there'll be 3 offers eventually for workforce experience, but we have one in the market today. It's called Workplace Design Offer. And so this is about improving productivity by aligning workspaces with work activities. So there's 4 different styles of work, where there's collaborative work, there's socializing, there's collaborative work, there's concentration that you want to do, kind of one-on-one, heads-down work, and then there's the learning kind of, where you have training, for example. And so this solution is about aligning the technology with all 4 different styles of work, whether it's our telepresence units, or you see all the products, Cisco Unified Call Manager, the products listed there. How do you go about aligning this technology with each one of these 4 different work styles, so you get that almost in-person experience, for example, when you're collaborating even across large distances, right? So that's workforce experience. A customer example here is, the single largest expense of any company on an ongoing basis is employee salaries. And Gallup does this survey in 140 plus countries, several million data points, and they've been doing it for several years. The latest one tells you that on average, globally average, 87% of the employees are disengaged. And by disengaged, they mean they just come into work to collect a paycheck. Work is not a calling for them. They just don't want to rock the boat. Only 13% come to work because they are excited about work. So imagine this. Employee salaries is your single largest expense, and a majority of employees are disengaged. How wasteful is that, right? And so there's a lot of things that goes into getting your employees engaged, but Cisco helps from a technology perspective. We give control back to the employees on how they can work, where they can work, whether it's from home or in the campus. And so this offer is about that. RSHP is an architecture firm out of London, and they were looking to attract talent, right? So all of this young talent coming out of marquee universities in the world wants to go work for software companies, want to go to startups, and so they were having a hard time attracting talent, right? So they ended up deploying our workforce experience solutions, and they moved from a less expensive part of London to actually the most expensive part of London to have that kind of, that's one of the reasons we have a lot of startups in the San Francisco Bay Area, even though it's a pretty high cost geography, but that's where the cluster is. So they were able to they were able to deploy our workforce experience solution. The technologies deployed are listed there, and so the results that they saw is they were able to attract this new class of customer talent. They have consistent collaborative experience. They're also able to increase the utilization of their workspace. Now I said employee salaries is the single largest expense. The second largest expense of any typical corporation is real estate. And on average, the real estate utilization, we talk about server utilization and all of that. The average utilization of a real estate building in a US corporation is 50%. Half the time, your building is not even being used. Right? So how about using technology to help increase the utilization of your building? And workforce experience helps with that. The digital ceiling that I'm going to cover next is also going to help with that. So that's workforce experience. And the last one I'm going to cover is digital ceiling, and I'm going to do this in 2-3 minutes. So we have about 5-ish minutes left for Q&A. So digital ceiling is about creating smart, secure, seamlessly connected building systems. So you take any typical building, there's many different types of networks. So you get one network for data, you get a second network for light, you get a third network for HVAC, you got a fourth network for control system, you got maybe a fifth network for security, and all of these are siloed. They don't talk to each other, right? So digital ceiling is about converging all of those networks into a single, into one IP network that can deliver not only data but also power, right? So the PoE technology with UPoE, which is 60 watts per port. So you can go about creating new user experiences. And I'll share with you what are those new user experiences, driving lower costs and enabling business agility. And so that's what digital ceiling is about. There are four elements of the digital ceiling framework. Number one, I said this is about converging multiple building systems, so I covered this, and there's many different types of networks in a building, and we converge them into a single IP network, and we actually have done this with a number of customers. The second element is about digital ceiling partner community. We have 23 industry-leading partners in our digital ceiling ecosystem right now today. And anywhere from like sensors to, and I actually show you some of the companies and who are in our partner community. The third is about open information exchange. So things like CoAP, which is an open protocol. So all the things in the ceiling and in the network, building network can actually talk to each other. Right? And the fourth one is the optimizations that we have done in our network, things like perpetual PoE or fast PoE or fast boot. Perpetual PoE is the ability to deliver power to the endpoints. She talked about there's going to be millions of devices coming on the network. Why stop at the data for that for those devices? You can actually deliver power with our PoE technologies to all of those devices. And so we've done optimizations on our catalyst switches, things like perpetual PoE. So the unlikely event of catalyst switch not running, you still are delivering power to the endpoint. And so those are the four things. Now the next slide is a NASCAR slide, and Lauren told me you guys don't like NASCAR slides. So the only reason I have this slide here is there's a number of partners that we have in our ecosystem who are competitors, but they are still in the same digital ecosystem. Even though they are competitors with each other, we are able to get them in the same slide and be part of a digital ceiling ecosystem. So this is the entire ecosystem. We announced 15 in Berlin. We announced 8 just a couple of weeks ago. So anyway, from lighting, our Refinity is analytics. We got Superior SX Lagrange. Point Grab is another cool one. They do heat imaging, and they can count how many people in a room, of course anonymized, and then you can do things like ROI on your real estate. Today, believe it or not, there's a customer who told me they have a person carrying a notepad and a pen walking around trying to figure out how many butts in the seats in the building, right? So that is the state of the art today. And so if you can have a sense, so light no longer is just a light, it's also an IP endpoint with some sensors embedded in it. And once you have that, you can start to count, do space utilization, those kinds of use cases. So I said it's about, digital ceiling is about 3 things: creating new user experiences, cutting costs, and doing analytics. So what are those user experiences? And I'm going to build the whole slide. So for example, when an employee comes in, you can automatically change the light and the color, change the room temperature to what the employee likes, and this can be preset. And you can even carry over the settings of the IP phone or the collaboration or the personal telepresence into the room, so you adapt the environment to the personal preferences. And this is not a future, this is a possible today. Actually, we're showing the demos on Cisco Live show floor. Okay, so we can give control back to the employee, and that's how you drive engagement. When am I disengaged? I'm disengaged when decisions get taken without my input, or just decisions hoisted on me. And this is kind of giving control back to the employee on what is the lighting that you like, what is the environment that you like to work in. The second is about improving building efficiency, or lowering costs, is things like harvesting daylight, and this is actually a requirement in for example, in California. If you have a new building coming up, you shall have daylight sensors into the ceiling, so that it can automatically sense how much daylight is coming from outside and adjust the intensity of the LED lights. So that's another way you can lower costs. One of the examples that we've done, and we have examples with our customers as well, this is a Cisco example, but we have companies like Central IO Power, Cisco, that have implemented the solution. They are seeing actually about 85% lower energy costs. What this one is Cisco's new workspace in Toronto. If you are ever in Toronto, check out the RBC Water Park. It's kind of right on the waterfront. There's 4 floors of the Cisco campus.
It's awesome.
It's all you've seen.
It really is like what you're talking about, which a lot of people see as a bit marketing-ish, that it really is all working at that building, and the Cisco employees are living it every single day. It's very cool to actually see it working.
Yeah. So what we've done there is on these 4 floors, we converge 5 different networks into one IP. So convergence drives simplicity, drives cost savings. So we saw lower CapEx as well as OpEx. So lower capital expenditure as well as lower operating expenditure. We have done things like, the people sensors when it senses there's 15 people in this room versus 3 previously, it senses there's 15, it talks to the HVAC system, and the HVAC system automatically pumps more air. So that is, it's implemented today. And so we've done things like that, get reduced energy cost, and we're also anticipating that this would make the Toronto the first LEED Platinum certification, which is a green building in terms of energy savings. So new user experiences, better user experiences, and save some money. So that's digital sealing. I'm gonna just sum it up for you. Why Cisco for digital solutions? Relevant business results. I mean, going back to what Sri was saying, digitization. If that is the key imperative today, and customers are investing in customer experience, workforce experience, we deliver relevant business results for those kinds of capabilities. Faster time to business value because we've packaged these up. We've done the interoperability testing for us as well as for our partner products, and we have advanced security built in. Security is not an afterthought. Network as a sensor, network as an enforcer, all of that. iOS is battle hardened. It's seen all of these movies, right, many times. So security is built in. And so we have digital solutions in 3 categories: customer experience, workforce experience, digital sealing. We'll do more of these as we go forward. If there's one website that you might want to remember, it's cisco.com/go/digital. All of the stuff that Sri covered and I covered, you can link it off of there as well. And that's it. So any questions or comments that we can take at this time?
So when you talk about digital transformation, the first thing I think of is connecting devices that were not previously connecting, gathering data, analyzing data. So from analyzing that data and deriving value from data, what is Cisco already doing in analytics? I see we're getting into tetration. There's some partner relationships. What else is Cisco doing with the analytics?
Analytics is something that we are getting into a lot of focus in terms of our portfolio. So we were going to launch a bunch of products in Cisco Live, but we've put it forward in a few months. So there's a lot we are doing. A lot of our acquisition strategy was focused there. We were acquiring a lot of people, vertical, relevant companies, and all of that stuff. So we're integrating. So in a couple of months, you'll see that launching. A lot of the IoT portfolio that we have, I don't know if this mic is working, but has a lot of that already built in. Okay, so like I give you examples of we're working with train companies. Energy. Okay. Energy, power sector, we do a lot of stuff. We've worked with Rockwell Automation to build the CPW, Cisco Plant-Wide Ethernet DIG. So we've integrated all sensors, and there are a number of use cases where, on mining industry, inside factories for this one, if you go down to the World of Solutions, Mazak has a demo on, CNC machines, how they've automated that and all of that stuff. But to answer your question, you're going to see more products come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jasper, of course, and Cisco Jasper.
Cisco's done a lot of, we were focused on IT and all that stuff, and now with transformation, IoT was first, we are seeing a lot of vertical relevant solutions. You're going to see more of this analytics portfolio, all of these being built out.
Yeah. So I understand the connecting them and the gathering data, and then I fill up a sand full of data, and what do I do with it? Analysis,
exactly. That's what I said. Remember when I covered, I said, you don't want the data deluge problem. You want information, you want insight, not the raw data. And that's the analysis. So we have products, it's going to be named, I can't name them now, but basically in-stream data analysis. See, the problem is, before you had with Hadoop and all that stuff, you take data, okay, you put it in a Hadoop cluster, you run it later on, 2-3 hours later, you get an analysis, you do that. You can't do that with near real-time transformation decision making. So you need in-stream data analysis. I used to work for a company called Fast Search and Transfer, and it's a search company. You need document pipelines coming in the data and be able to query millions of rows of data right in-stream and make a decision based on that. So those are the kind of acquisitions and products. And then the ability to persist volumes of data very quickly. Because there is a case in Dubai where, the data being generated in an oil platform is enormous. You can't transmit all of that through a satellite feed. So your system needs to be, analytics system needs to be intelligent to know what data to persist right there, which then at the end of the day, a helicopter takes it on the drive, and what to send over for immediate analysis.
Right, and we also have, like, so today, Sri talked about what's coming and some of the other opportunities.
Yeah.
So today, for example, workforce experience, I talked about real estate is the second largest expense, and half the time the buildings are not even used. And that's a big capital that's tied up, that is doing nothing. So we work with our partners like Refinity. So they make the sensing as well as the dashboards that can do the analytics. So it's both, like Cisco has it, Cisco has their own products, but you also work with partners.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's some cool products on the horizon that you want to talk about, but you can't yet. When should we expect to see some more announcements?
Yeah. I think, so we just did the titration, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, Sri and I both are, I don't think we are at liberty to kind of talk when the launches are happening for the future products, but titration is pretty cool, so kind of, seeing great momentum. You'll see more.
Yeah, analytics that's at the network management and all that level that it covers now. You'll see more things coming out at a business level.
Other questions, comments? Was this useful? I see heads nodding, so that's great.
And understand that.
Sorry?
Yeah.
I think there's a wait and see aspect.
There's a wait and see for just the analytics. Let me be clear. All the other things that you there, they've all been launched, and the other portfolio around the stuff. And we have a lot of case studies that we are doing. We have a lot of customers as well that we're working. But analytics, you're right. It's we're building a capability.
I think the analytics are actually the real strength of it all. We've got all the previous technology, bringing it all together, and then using the analytics to say, okay, how is this best applied? That's where it's really going to give it legs.
Right. And when you think of analytics, don't think of it as a product. Analytics, again, remember in that spectrum I showed you, analytics right at the network level, at the data center level, at the cloud level, then you come up to the business level. So, analytics around the data center and all of those things like with titration and stuff, we have a good portfolio out there, right, in terms of that. We have partnerships with Splunk on logging and all of that stuff. All of that stuff is there. It's getting into business. So we have products like Social Miner and stuff in retail where, I'll give you an example. CMX is a great analytics product that's launched. You can talk about it. If I am Macy's or if I'm Copenhagen Airport, I'm able to see my traffic real time. So let's take a retail store, for example, a big Macy's store. You'll see dots of people. So when you see a lot of dots congregating in one spot, as a store manager, I might want to send more store associates there to keep the level of customer experience higher. Now, if I find people loitering around in an area which is like geo-fenced, I know there's a problem. If there are, historically, let's say in a day, there are a lot of people converging in one area, and that means the products there are selling fast. Areas where there are not many dots, that means those are not selling well. Maybe I should change the products that I use there. And then finally, I can find out even more deeper insight, like where are teenagers hanging around the store? So I can see and change the decor of the place different. So that's analytics. And all of those products we already have. CMX has a lot of good use cases around it.
Great.